Hey guys, we're going to be doing something a little different in this video, and I'm going to be showing you how this Flitz works on traditional knives. This is kind of a polishing compound here. It's supposed to work on metal, plastics, and metal, plastic, and fiberglass. And so it's just a polishing paste, and they have it in, I think, a liquid form too. And it's supposed to be non-toxic. I'm not sure if you'd really want to use your knife for cutting food after you use this, unless you wash it off and stuff. But yeah, this is mostly should be polishing. I'm going to be polishing up this number 92 Talon. That's a Northfield trim. I brought this out to kind of give you a comparison. So there's the bolsters are kind of yeah, they're a little bit faded, so they need a little bit of work. The shield isn't as shiny as it should be for Northfield trim, and on the blade here there's a few small marks. I'm not sure if they're going to come up in the camera, but there's a few small marks on the blade. And the original owner of this actually bought it on the secondary market for a fairly decent price. I believe that they said they used Flitz originally to remove the Northfield etching that was on the blade, which it will do, I believe, is if you use this on a blade with etching, you know, kind of like the etching on this Mustang here, that it will remove that. So that's something to be aware of before you start doing this, is that something like that will probably get removed with the Flitz. So if you do want to keep that on, you have to be really careful, or just not use the Flitz. Just develop a patina. But this is kind of a way of either removing patina or removing, you know, small little, I guess like almost like pepper marks on the blade. It's kind of hard to tell. But we'll take a look at it once we're done here. So let's lay down a towel here for I don't know if we. Actually, we'll put it on this yellow towel. These are really cheap microfiber towels from Amazon, so I don't really mind getting them messed up. So, start with the blade here. Open it up. The Flitz has a little light blue tint to it. That's what I've been doing. Putting just a little bit on one of these cloths. I actually did this with another knife earlier. I needed it. Just put a little bit on. So I don't think you really need a lot. Just kind of rub it into the blade. Put on both sides. Definitely has a chemically smell to it, so if those smells bother you, you're gonna have to do this outside or something. I don't mind it too much, but okay, so take a different corner of the rag to try to polish this off. Let's start seeing if we get some good results here. Might need a little bit more. This is not as easy to do on camera. I say, I was doing this earlier off camera for a different knife. It's definitely easier. It's a little bit more difficult looking through the screen on the camera to see what you're doing. Yeah, if I didn't mention already before, this is a number 92 Talon, which means it's a number 92 single blade, which had either a spear or a Warncliffe. Then they also had a number 92 Eureka Jack, which had a spear main and a coping secondary. Actually, I have a few versions of this. Probably do videos of in the future. But this was the one that definitely needed some touching up here. because whoever owned this, it was definitely a user blade when they got it. They definitely put some use on it. You can tell that it's already taken off some of the either patina or those little pepper marks. It's definitely taken off something. So that's the blade now. Looks a little bit better. Definitely very shiny. I think that that did pretty well. It's definitely definitely reflecting pretty good in the camera here. Yeah. All right, let's work on the rest of it here. The bolsters and the shield. Let's take a look here before. This is actually a serialized Northfield, so it's number 20. I forgot how many they made. But yeah, that's what the stamping on the bolster's for. So I'm not sure why whoever owned this before decided to put it into use and remove the etching for something that was had the serialized number, Northfield trim. Typically people do that with the Tid Utes. But who knows? I mean, if you buy the knife, you do with it what you want, but he offered it at a good price because it was a user. And it had a little bit of fading going on here, so I'll put on the bolsters. And again, you don't need a lot of polish on this. You can tell it already removed a little bit, just applying the polish on there. I'll take another part of the rag here. Yeah, that's it's coming out good. I'll show you in a second here. And the Flitz stuff, I can't remember how much I paid for this too, but it wasn't a lot. And you should be able to get a lot of use out of it for at least your traditional knives. So you shouldn't have to use a lot. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up or not here. Definitely looks like it's getting better. A little bit more on it. Keep at it a little bit. You can take some time to do this and continue to apply more polish. Not sure. There's got to be a point where it's not going to get any better. But something we can work on and see how it looks. I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's not that expensive to buy, and it definitely restores a traditional. Well, I guess yeah, it kind of restores a traditional knife to kind of back how it was when it first came out. And let's get a look here. So, yeah, it doesn't want to focus. All right. So that's the Flitz bolster on the front. Give you an idea of what the Flitz did, and this is what it looked like originally. So the end cap there, they were the end bolster, has not been flitzed yet, nor is the shield. So let's work on the shield next. Oh, more Flitz. That's a teeny bit. Should do it. Some of it goes over onto the wood. I don't think it should be a problem. I think I read something on the website that it shouldn't cause any problems with wood, so it doesn't seem to So I did this earlier on a camel bone knife, and it didn't seem to mess up the camel bone at all. Alright, let's see. There's the shield. It does look a little bit more shiny than before. You can use paper towels or napkins too if you want. I'm just using these cheap towels from Amazon because they seem to work a little bit more for polishing up things. I think that looks pretty good. It's not going to be perfect because of course this was still a user and still has some scratches and a few little marks on it, but definitely looks better than it did before. Alright, let's get the end bolsters here. It really doesn't require much to start getting results. So even if you buy a tube this size, it should last quite a while. As long as you oil your knife normally, you shouldn't need to do this that often. Let's see. That looks pretty good. No, I'm sure I could spend more time on this and get it even more shiny, but it looks a lot better than the way it arrived originally. I mean, this is almost looks new. Really nice. So I definitely recommend this stuff if you're trying to polish up your traditionals, remove some marks on the blade. Also, if you have any patina built up, it will remove that layer of patina from your blade as well. So if you don't like patina, this is a way to take it off. Not sure if the back spring doesn't really need as much, but I think that turned out pretty well. Last thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of mineral oil. You can get this on Amazon too, Tree Spirit Mineral Oil. And this is food safe. So if you did wash down this blade and then put this on, you could still use your traditional for food prep because this is food safe mineral oil. And from the stuff I read on Amazon, a lot of people use this brand of mineral oil for their wood cutting boards because it says it protects woodware. So they use it on their cutting boards, but it also works on these high carbon traditionals like the 1095 that GEC uses. So I just kind of put a little bit of oil on. This is a different rag than I was using to polish the blade. This is one I use exclusively for oiling the blades. I just put a light coat on there and just lightly rub it off just so there's a little bit of oil still on it. And now this should be nice and protected. It's nice and polished up now. Back to that polished look of a Northfield trim knife. Not quite as nice as be new out of tube, but I think this looks pretty good. So yeah, it's just a video of me trying out this Flitz polishing compound, and they have a few different other paste. Different brands make polishing paste as well. This is the one I've heard the most about. So if you have any questions about doing this, feel free to leave it down in the comments there below. It's a little different tonight. making this video about this Flitz compound, but you know, I figured I'd show you how well it works, because when I used it earlier on a knife that it was actually worse than this. I was really impressed by the results, because you know, it took a knife that had a lot of use on it, and like you know, the bolsters were really faded. They were worse than this, and the blade had a lot of little pepper marks on it, and it made it look pretty much new. So definitely would recommend this product. Not just the Flitz for polishing, but also this mineral oil. And you can get all this for not a lot of money, and this bottle of mineral oil is going to last a long time. So yeah, as always, you know, leave any questions down in the comments. I'll try to make sure I get to any of them. And like and subscribe to this channel for more videos. And guys, thanks for watching.